For most of my life, consistency sounded like advice people gave when they had nothing better to say. But the older I get, the more I realize it's some of the best advice anyone can give. Because when you look at the people like Tom Brady, who's renowned as one of the best football players of all time, or really anybody who's great at what they do, it's never some magical secret. It's usually just doing the same things over and over at a high level for a long time. And Brady says this over and over in his interviews.
To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent.
And obviously, I'm not Tom Brady. Believe it or not, the NFL has not called me up for the draft. But I've started noticing the same thing in my own life. The more consistent I am with the boring stuff, the better my life tends to be. And I think what took me so long to understand is that consistency doesn't really feel impressive while you're doing it. There's nothing exciting about going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. There's nothing exciting about showing up to work every day. There's nothing exciting about making another video when the last one got 8 views. But those boring days start to stack up, one on top of the other. And eventually, you look back and realize that your life is completely different from what it once was. And I think the gym was probably the first place that I ever really learned this. I've been lifting for years now. As soon as you start the gym, you'll be like, what's the best exercise? What supplements should I take? Should I eat this? What has the best macros? Meanwhile, the guy who's been showing up 4 to 5 days a week for 5 years is probably going to look a lot better than almost everybody asking those questions. And I know that because I was one of those people. When I first started lifting, I wanted every workout to be perfect. If I found some dude online saying my workout split sucked, suddenly I was changing the entire thing. And then I would see some other guy 3 days later who's saying the complete opposite, and it would just confuse the crap out of me. Eventually, you realize that at some point, you actually have to stop researching how to lift weights and just lift the weights. And the same thing happens with food. You can spend 3 hours researching the perfect diet, planning out your shopping list, or you can just eat enough protein and do that for a couple years too. I'm not sitting here saying the details don't matter. They do. They most definitely do. But details matter a lot more once you've actually proven you can stick with something. Stick to a plan. Because the perfect plan that you follow for 2 weeks is probably worse than the pretty good plan that you follow for 2 years. And I think that applies to almost everything in your life. And one of the things it's helping me with is YouTube. YouTube has been a really good example of this for me. I just recently started this channel about 2 months ago. I started this with no editing skills, any idea on how to record, or even how to use the equipment that I bought to try and do this. But each week, I've slowly been watching other people and learning how to be better at what I'm doing, whether it be making a thumbnail or editing a video, or trying to get the pacing right while talking. Because a lot of the time, I tend to talk really fast and it gets hard to understand me. And naturally, people want to understand the video that they're watching. And that's the thing about being new at something. You're bad, but you actually don't know how bad you are at it yet. You don't know what you don't know. You just have this vague feeling that something's off. So every single week I go back and I watch my last video and I cringe at it. I notice the pacing's off, or the audio's too quiet, or I said so 47 times in a 9-minute video. And instead of that being discouraging, I've started looking at it as the proof that my system is working. Because if I watched my first video back today and thought it was great, then that would actually be a really bad sign. That would mean I stopped improving. That cringe is the receipt. It's the proof that you grew. And I think that's the part nobody tells you about being consistent at something. It's not that you stop being bad. It's that you get uncomfortable at a slightly higher level every single time you improve. The stuff that used to be hard becomes normal, and then something new becomes the hard part. And right now, the hard part for me is just talking slower. In 6 months, it'll probably be something else that I can't even see in my own videos yet. And that's kind of the whole game that we play. And now here's the part where I think people get consistency wrong. And honestly, it's where I got it wrong for a long time too. We think consistency means doing the exact same thing forever. Like it's supposed to feel like a robot on a loop. But that's not really it. It's not about repeating the same action. It's about repeating the same commitment while those actions get better underneath it. Like I mentioned Tom Brady earlier. He was not doing the same football drills that he did in college when he was an absolute pro. He had years of experience under his belt and then built on top of that and had new drills and new fundamentals so that way he could up his game. Saban's defense in 2007 isn't going to be the same defense he runs in 2020. Things change, but the commitment stayed the same. Show up, put in the work, evaluate, and adjust. But the actual details evolved constantly. So when I say I've gotten better with the gym, I don't mean I've done the exact same workout for 5 years. The workouts I've done have changed, the split has changed, the amount of weight has absolutely changed. What stayed the same is that I showed up. That's the variable that matters. And I think this is why so many people quit things after a few weeks. They're waiting to feel like an expert before they let themselves even get going in it. They think if they're still confused or still bad or just still figuring it out, that means it's not working. But being confused for a while is not a sign you're doing it wrong. Like for myself personally, I just started a new job this summer where I'm a trainee. I am brand new to this industry and I've never learned a single thing about it. It's basically a foreign language to me, and the entire time I've been trying to help customers or other people, I just look like a complete idiot. But now 2-3 months into the summer, I'm actually starting to understand what's going on and actually being able to help people and provide useful information and do my job better. Nobody shows up in the gym week 1 and has good form. Nobody uploads a video 1 and has good editing. Nobody's first year in a relationship, job, business, whatever it may be, looks like a seasoned veteran. People who end up good at things aren't the ones who skip that stage. They're just the ones who didn't quit during it. But our brains are wired to chase novelty. That's actually useful, evolutionary speaking. It's why humans explored, adapted, learned new skills to survive. But it also means your brain is constantly whispering that new plan, that new diet, that new workout split, that new video idea that's going to be the one that finally works. Not because it's true, but because it feels good. Consistency, on the other hand, feels boring, specifically because your brain has already learned there's nothing new to pay attention to, which sounds bad, but it's actually the whole point. Boring to your brain means safe and handled. And when something is safe and handled, you stop spending energy thinking about it, which frees you up to actually get good at it. That's why the guy switching workout programs every 2 weeks never builds muscle, even though he's trying way harder than the guy doing the same basic program for 2 years. He never lets anything become boring enough to master. He's addicted to the feeling of starting, not the feeling of progress. And I'll be honest, I still feel that pull constantly. Every week, there's this little voice in the back of my mind telling me to switch up my whole content style, or try some trending format, or completely change how I edit, or just switch up how I go to the gym. Most of the time, I ignore it, not because change is bad, but because I've learned to tell the difference between actual improvement and my brain just getting bored and wanting something shiny. And I think there's another part of consistency that I used to completely misunderstand. Consistency does not mean you never fall off, because you're going to. You're going to get sick, you're going to go on vacation, work is going to get busy. You're going to have a week where everything just feels like a pain in the ass and everything just goes to hell. And I used to think once I broke a routine, I'd basically ruined it. Like if I had missed the gym for 4 or 5 days, suddenly in my head, I hadn't worked out since 2007. Might as well just cancel my membership and sell all my protein powder, it's over. But that's just a stupid way of looking at it. Because personally, I think one of the biggest differences between somebody who stays consistent for years and somebody who constantly starts and stops isn't the consistent person never messes up. They're just better at coming back. They don't turn one bad day into a bad week and that bad week into a bad month. They take their hits, fall down, and tell themselves to get back up. They stay focused on their goals and they can see what will happen if they stick to them. And I want to talk about money here for a second, because I think this shows up here more than almost anywhere else. Nobody gets excited putting away the same percentage of their paycheck every single month. There's no dopamine hit from automatically transferring money into an index fund. This investing strategy is one of the most boring financial decisions a person can make. But that boring decision, repeated for 20 or 30 years, is basically the entire blueprint for how regular people end up financially free. Meanwhile, the exciting version, chasing a stock when it's hot, timing the market, jumping in and out based on a feeling, is how a lot of people lose money doing something they felt a lot more thrilling in the moment. Boring builds, exciting usually burns. And I think relationships follow the same pattern, honestly. The relationships that last aren't the ones with the most chaos and the most grand gestures. It's the small, boring stuff repeated for years. Showing up, communicating, doing what you said you do. None of that makes a good highlight reel, but all of that is what actually holds something bigger together. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect plan, and stop treating boring like it's a problem you need to fix. Boring usually just means you're finally doing the thing instead of planning to do the thing. Go to the gym even though today's workout isn't special. Make the video even though the last one got 0 views. Save the money even though it's not exciting. And then show up again tomorrow and then again the day after that. Because one boring day means basically nothing. But 1,000 boring days stacked on top of each other is what a good life is actually made of. If you're new here, I'm documenting this whole process on this channel. It's being pretty bad at first, hopefully less bad over time. So if you want to see where this goes, stick around to find out. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.
Vocês estão prontos?